But the masses who are mobilized in these struggles will be politicized only if there is a vigorous campaign amongst them against the reactionary and divisive Hindutva communalism. What is called for is the integration of the struggle against Hindutva communalism and the struggle against neoliberal policies. At this juncture, when we strive for the broadest mobilization of all secular forces against the BJP, it must be borne in mind that it is the left alone which is the consistent force which can firmly and uncompromisingly fight all manifestations of Hindutva and majoritarian communalism precisely because of our uncompromising stand on neoliberal policies. The Modi government in its third term is going ahead with the RSS-driven Hindutva agenda, aggressive neoliberal policies, and reinforcing authoritarianism. In this process, neo-fascist characteristics, implementing the fascistic agenda of the RSS entails the constant targeting of the Muslim minority. They are marked for persecution through communal violence perpetrated by the Hindutva outfits, aided and abetted by the state machinery in the BJP-ruled states. This state of perennial violence and intimidation directed against the Muslim community is part of the drive to create a permanent communal divide and to effect a pan-Hindutva consolidation. The Modi government has become a byword for crony capitalism. It seeks to privatize new sectors and provide new areas for profit maximization for the big monopolies. As a result, we are seeing unprecedented inequality, with the top 1% of the population owning 40% of the total wealth of the country. There are high levels of unemployment, particularly among youth, increased exploitation of labor through contractualization and informalization, and the fall in the share of wages in the net value added in the industrial sector. The condition of farmers and agricultural workers have also worsened due to the worsening agrarian crisis. The coming period will see an intensification of the class and mass struggles of the working people, and we must be prepared to give a political direction to these struggles. The government is going ahead with the implementation of the 4 labor codes which curtail the rights of workers. These anti-working class laws have to be fought. The central trade unions have given a call for a one-day strike on May 20th, demanding the withdrawal of these 4 labor codes. The left parties and all other class and mass organizations will work to make this strike a resounding success. The fact that the BJP lost its majority in the Lok Sabha and that the NDA does not command a 2/3 majority in either house of parliament has not stopped the Modi government's authoritarian efforts to reshape the Indian state and the constitution. The constitutional amendment bill to bring about simultaneous elections to the Lok Sabha and the legislative assemblies is a direct assault on federalism and states' rights. The steps to curtail Parliament, weaken the higher judiciary, and erode the independent status of the Election Commission are still ongoing. Draconian laws like the UAPA and the PMLA are being used against opposition leaders. 2 elected chief ministers in jail on corruption charges. The authoritarian centralization drive trampling upon the federal principle and are trampling upon the federal principle and the rights of the states. There is blatant discrimination in the allocation of funds to the non-BJP state governments. The BJP RSS combined manipulates caste identities to maintain the caste system, the basic framework of social relations and values are being consistently infiltrated into the social and spheres. Fight against the Manuvadi patriarchal system, which attacks the rights of women, Dalits and Adivasis, are an integral part of the struggle against the Hindutva forces. The party Congress will be addressing the primary issue of independent strength of the CPIM in the country. There has to be a planned effort to launch local struggles on class and mass issues, build the party at the grassroots, and streamline the functioning of the party organization. The LDF government in Kerala has been in the forefront in opposing the anti-people policies of the central government. Because the LDF government has sought to implement alternative policies, it is facing hostility and discrimination by the union government. The ongoing struggle in defense of federalism and states' rights by the LDF and the people of Kerala is an important part of the All India fight in defense of federalism and against authoritarianism. Comrades and friends, the Trump presidency signals a new chapter in the saga of US imperialism. Here is a more naked form of imperialist aggrandizement. Territorial annexation and squeezing the resources of even close allies is the norm. Trump is supporting Netanyahu's plan to obliterate the Palestinians from Gaza. Trump is taking aggressive steps against many countries of the global south. Despite all these, Prime Minister Modi remains supine and proclaims his fealty to Trump. The repercussions for our country are going to be severe. The Modi government is already surrendering India's vital interests on tariffs, on purchase of energy supplies and military equipment. A new front is opening up against the Modi regime and his close embrace of America. The CPIM and the left will be in the forefront against any compromising of India's sovereign interests. We must go forth and rouse the people against imperialist depredations and the servile attitude of the BJP rulers. US imperialism under Trump will launch new attacks through economic and trade wars, political and military interventions on countries around the world. This is the time for the CPIM and the left to actively develop anti-imperialist struggles and expose the pro-imperialist policies of the Modi government. Comrades, from this platform of the Congress, we express our full support and total solidarity with the Palestinian people who are facing a genocide in Gaza for the past 17 months, perpetrated by the brutal Zionist regime in Israel. That attack on Gaza and the killing of ordinary men, women and children is still ongoing there in Gaza. We condemn the shameful betrayal of the Palestinian cause by the Modi government and its blind support to Israel. We also greet the heroic people of Cuba and the Cuban government who have been violently opposing the inhuman economic blockade, which is now being further tightened by Trump, which has been imposed for more than 6 decades. We will always stand in support with socialist Cuba. Colleagues and friends, this is the time to strengthen left unity and expand left intervention. The left is the only consistent force against neoliberal capitalism and will firmly defend the interests of the working people. It is the left which has the ideological wherewithal and convictions to fight and counter Hindutva neo-fascism. It is only the left which can lead the fight against the imperialist designs on our country. The CPIM will work with all left forces to go forward towards the building of a left and democratic alternative. The CPIM will also renew its commitment to join hands with all secular and democratic forces to forge the broadest unity so that the struggle against the BJP RSS can be successfully concluded. From Madurai, let this call go out loud and clear. All left democratic and secular forces should unite to push back the dark forces of reaction. Let us work together to build a new India on secular, democratic and progressive lines towards people's democracy and socialism. Thank you.
Now, I would request Comrade D. Raja, General Secretary of CPI, to address this inaugural session of the 24th Party Congress of Communist Party of India Marxist.
Respected President, Comrade Manik Sarkar, respected leaders of CPIM and other left parties on the dais, respected comrades, on behalf of the Communist Party of India, I extend our revolutionary greetings to all of you. Lal Salam, comrades. Comrades, I would like to warmly acknowledge the CPIM for holding this important party congress in Madurai. Madurai, a city where in the past, the undivided Communist Party of India held one of its decisive congresses, drawing strength from the militant tradition of Tamil Nadu. The militant tradition of the working people, the peasantry, the socially oppressed sections of Tamil Nadu. Today, we stand in the land of Tamil Nadu, where the comrades who laid their lives not only for freedom from colonial rule, but also for from feudalism caste tyranny and exploitation. That is the land of Tamil Nadu. Comrades, the world capitalist system is engulfed in a deep chronic crisis. The neoliberal offensive has neither brought prosperity nor stability to the vast majority in the world. Inequality is obscene in a global scale. The combined wealth of a handful of billionaires exceeds the combined wealth of nation states across the world. The World Bank and IMF, thanks, the World Bank, IMF, continue to push the very policies that have brought misery to workers and peasants across the countries. As Karl Marx correctly observed, capital comes dripping from head to toe, from every pore with blood and dirt. That's what Karl Marx said. We are also witnessing the sharpening of inter-imperialist contradictions, NATO's provocative expansion, and the war in Ukraine have deepened global instability, with working people paying the price in blood. The genocide in Gaza, backed by imperialist powers, has exposed the hypocrisy of Western regimes that preach human rights. They preach human rights, but this is what they do while aiding, abetting war crimes. Lenin, I quote Lenin, had forewarned all of us, imperialism is war. Imperialism is war. Today, the character of imperialism is naked to all of us to see. Comrades, alongside this, the climate crisis, driven by capitalist plunder of nature, threatens the very survival of humanity. Yet, the ruling masses are busy building fortresses for the rich, leaving the masses to perish. Adding fuel to the fire, the rise and consolidation of the obscurantist international right-wing forces serve only to divide, confuse, and to immobilize the working people from their primary task, their real task of overthrowing the system of exploitation. That is their primary task. Congress, coming to national situation, India, it is our own land for revolutionary intervention. Centuries back, in this very land of Tamil Nadu, Thiruvalluvar said, பிறப்புக்கும் எல்லா உயிர்க்கும் பிறப்புக்கும் எல்லா உயிர்க்கும், all are equal by birth. Contrary to this universal and timeless assertion, we see that inequality is systematic in India. In its structural and evolving system of exploitation and discrimination that we have to fight. Comrades, India today stands at a breaking point. The structural oppressions of class, caste, and patriarchy have become brutal under BJP RSS regime, which is nothing but political tool of the most reactionary sections of bourgeoisie and landlords. Comrades, let us speak plainly. India is not merely suffering from bad governance. India is suffocating under system designed to exploit the gap between the rich and poor has never been this shameful level. The top 1% of the country now owns more than 40% of the national wealth, while half of the population struggles for just 2 meals in a day. Comrades, the history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. History of class struggles, wrote Karl Marx and Engels. In India, this class struggle is intertwined with caste system, the oldest and most vicious system of social oppression. Caste and mass oppression are not parallel, they are fused. Land ownership patterns, wage structures, access to education, and even basic human dignity are still denied to Dalits, Adivasis, and the most marginalized sections. Dr. Ambedkar had warned, caste is not merely a division of labor, it is division of laborers. This is what Dr. Ambedkar warned. Caste is not a division of labor, it is division of laborers. Today, the ruling classes, while parading in the garb of nationalism, they are trying to perpetuate the caste system. Patriarchy, another issue. Two, thriving under the regime, violence against women, violence against women, discrimination and denial of autonomy are institutionalized. The ruling classes are only too happy to use patriarchy. You know what is patriarchy? To divide and dictate the working people. Comrades, unemployment is pushing the youth to hopelessness. Our youth do not see any bright, certain future. It is pushing our youth to hopelessness. Agrarian distress is driving our farmers to commit suicide. The public education and health sectors are being systematically destroyed. The working people's rights to organize, to dissent, to dream are under relentless attack. Trade unions are demonized. Universities are turned into RSS laboratories. Journalism, media people are sitting. Journalism is criminalized. The secular democratic fabric of the Indian Republic is being torn apart, thread by thread. Above all, comrades, the RSS BJP combined is openly targeting the very constitution of India. It is seeking to dismantle the fundamental pillars: socialism, secularism, federalism, and social justice. Their assault on our republic is systematic and ideological. RSS as an organization follows deeply the divisive, communal and fascist ideology. It is inspired from Mussolini and Hitler and follows their organizational principles. BJP is the political wing of RSS, and among with several other organizations known as Sangh Parivar. The Sangh Parivar shares a fascist contempt for democracy. Sangh Parivar, they share the fascist contempt for democracy and believes in making representative institutions like the parliament redundant. Parliament is becoming increasingly redundant. Corporate ruled India, where majoritarianism and caste capital will dominate without restraint. This is in India in which we are living. Bhagat Singh had said, revolution is inalienable right. It is our inalienable right of mankind. Freedom is an imperishable birthright. Freedom is imperishable birthright. This slogan, fighting the British Raj, he was fighting the British Raj. The time has come to follow his words and reclaim our freedom from RSS BJP Raj. That is the challenge we face today. If we do what Bhagat Singh has said, the task before communists. Comrades, the present situation demands that we as communists rise to the occasion. All communists and left forces must forge principled unity to mount a decisive resistance against corporate communal assault. We must be the voice of the voiceless. We must be the organizers of the unorganized. We must be the hope of hopeless. Comrades, we must lead the struggles on the streets, in factories, in villages, in universities, not only against economic exploitation, but against the deep-rooted structures of deep-rooted structures of caste and patriarchy. We must make sure that the slogans of Jai Bhim, Lal Salam, you understand, Jai Bhim, Lal Salam and Inqilab Zindabad are not mere words but rallying phrase for a transformative movement. This is not a choice anymore, comrades. It is our revolutionary duty. It is not a choice, it is a revolutionary duty and task before us. Comrades, the defense of public education, public health, employment, food security and social security must be placed at the head of our program. These are not welfare demands. These are not just welfare demands. They are instruments of social justice and human